Ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you something today. I want to show you something that changed my life. Your influences, especially the ones that happen when you're a young teenager, really make a forever impact on you and change the trajectory of your whole musical world. For me, I grew up a metalhead, right? I grew up a metalhead. And there was no band that altered the trajectory of my musical life, of how I internally feel about music, than Black Sabbath. It's not even close. I went to every OZZFEST from, 97 to 2000 something, 4 or 5, I don't know, and hundreds of other shows in between, Pantera, Slayer, and Megadeth, and Tool, and Marilyn Manson, and all of it, right? That was my era. That was my generation. But the best show I ever saw was Black Sabbath, and it was somewhere around the reunion tour. I can't remember if it was at an OZZFest, if it was at the reunion tour. I've looked all online to find out exactly what show it was. It was in Virginia, the old Nissan Pavilion. And I'll tell you why it's hard for me to figure out exactly which show it was. Because one, because I've been to so many. But two, I don't remember the other bands that were there. Because what happened that day was nothing short of like a religious experience for me. And there's a part of me that's like, maybe I was just young. We were a little experimental at the time. Maybe a little goosed up. And I'm remembering it more epic, than it may have been. But I talked to my buddies I was at the show with. They were like, dude, I remember that. That was insanity. And here's the story. If you were here, let me know if this is how you remember it. And the year, right? Again, I'm thinking OZZFest 98. Maybe 2000. It could be 99, it could be 97. I looked at a bunch of them. I went to all of them. But here's the thing. Here's what I remember. I remember the rain. I remember the rain coming in sideways. I remember it being so wet and so muddy that eventually when we got back to the car, it was completely destroyed. We were covered head to toe in mud, right? We rolled down the hill up in front of Nissan there, covered in mud. I mean, top to bottom, covered in mud, hair, everything. We had pavilion tickets. It was raining so hard, the water and the mud was coming in down from the lawn, right? And there's a big lip there at Nissan, so this is a significant amount of water, right? But that's not the thing. The thing is that before Sabbath came on, they turned the house lights on and said there was a tornado warning and that they're going to delay the start of the show. Now, I don't know how much time passed, but the house lights are on, pouring down rain, lightning, and thunder. People are starting to leave. We're not going anywhere. We are committed, to say the least. And again, I don't know how much time passed. Felt like a half an hour. And out of nowhere, a great deal of the pavilion had left. People are walking back to their cars. Out of nowhere, it drops. Pitch black. Fire on stage. The red lights. The smoke. You hear Ozzy screaming that high-pitched voice. And then the siren. The siren of War Pigs. My hair stands up. I get chills just thinking about it today. And it was the most epic thing I've ever seen in my life. A huge sound. The band all in black, the lightning, the thunder hitting seemingly with the sound of the band. I was young, extremely impressionable, and it is one of the, if not the defining musical moment of my life, where I could have gone this way, and I went that way. Black Sabbath. And it all started, I'm telling you, the siren of War Pigs.
There's a song called War Pigs. I want to see a wild crowd. Come on.
Ozzy was the best when he was on his game. I've not watched this video. Funny that it's daylight though.
All right, come on. I can't hear you. You want to do this? I know you are.
All right. It's so epic. All right. Few things. One, I remember learning the song in E back in the day, right? But it's dropped down to C sharp. So C sharp standard, I believe. You got it? But he does it. He does it, everything up here real thick, right? But listen how low that bass is. It is monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. I'm so not used to playing a detuned guitar like this. My pressure's all wrong, and so like everything I hit something, I feel like I'm squeezing too hard and pulling it out of key, which I am. So know that my guitar is in tune. It's me that's not used to playing like this, right? Anyhow, and then the mighty Bill Ward. Bill Ward does not get enough credit, in my opinion. I saw an interview with him one time. I think it was the reunion interview, where he goes, I don't believe in keeping time, something like this. I think like an orchestrationist. In really loud parts, I get really loud, you know? In really sensitive parts, I get really sensitive. And you can hear, not just for each of the hits, but for every little single hit of the ride. Keeping the time in between the big hits when they all come in together, you can hear the intensity of how long it's waiting to hit. It is literally a masterclass in creating as much tension with silence as possible before the complete release. The band are absolute masters at waiting until the exact last moment before you're about to miss it, and then they grab it.
Come on!
See how he's up like that? Flat 7 rings.
Generals gathered in their masses. Evil minds and plot destruction. I feel the body burning.
One of the best all-time concert sing-alongs ever. Just like the We Will Rock You from Queen, where the audience participates, the clapping, the back and forth singing. Love that, the inverted power chord. So killer. You hear his tone? And then jumping up. It's so important that he gets the meatiest part of the chord, right? On guitar, this E is the same as this, it's the same as this, but the timbre is different. And he makes a point to be as big as possible because it's just him and Geezer. And Geezer, I mean, we'll get to Geezer in a minute, but just listen to how huge Tony Iommi sounds. huge with the SG and the Laney.
Hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds.
You hear that bass drop off?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
And that riff, you know, just flat 7 root, then walking straight down chromatically from the flat 3. Then first of all, what are the Confederate flags doing in England? I think they're at Donington here or whatever. But this groove down in C sharp, and I don't have the touch for it anymore. I mean, it's clear as day. All you Sabbath heads out there watching this, you're gonna be like, that dude doesn't have the touch for it anymore. Fact. But just listen to how killer it is. Just root. And then, he might be all down picking. I don't know, but it's just it's so epic. It's so epic. The mighty Bill Ward. I mean, it's every little thing he plays is a riff. Every little thing. You know. Let's try to get some. I mean, I don't even know what he's doing. It's like, I mean, it's bending the root. Bending up to that 9. I love it. Those octaves. It's not a whole step. It's a half step bending up. You know what great touch you have to have with strings this loose tuned down like that to get those little micro bends in tune? I mean, you can hear me, right? This video says guitar teacher, right? I'm supposed to have it sound right, but dude, I am not used to this. And for all you guys out there that you're like, oh man, why do I not sound in tune? So much of it is literally the pressure in your fingers. And when you can tune this thing to days, but different guitars in different tunings, different size strings, literally require different muscle memory, different pressure to get your intonation right to sound in tune. And it's different for different genres. So I want you to think about that when you watch this and listen to that. Think about how huge and perfect he sounds in tune. His intonation is perfect. And the way he's jumping around on this with really slinky strings. You know, I bet he probably has a really light touch, and that's why it blooms so much with these really loose, slinky strings. It is deceptively hard to do. You would be mistaken to just write this off as, oh, this is just, you know, some E minor riffing tuned down to C sharp. Everybody hit together, you know, and let Ozzy sing and clap. You would be completely missing the forest for the trees. Yeah, the crowd never claps sometimes.
Now darkness will stop turning as he's where the body's burning.
Oh, see, he had to read. Didn't let the audience do it.
Have the power, and of God it struck the hour. Day of judgment, God is calling. On the knees, the wall pigs crawling.
So huge.
Satan laughing spreads his way. Oh Lord, yeah. I see some fucking hand in there. Come on. I love you all. Come on.
Let him play.
I see a fucking wild crowd now.
Dude. You know, I realized I didn't get you learn all the solos and all the little riffs and stuff in there because, you know, That's not the key takeaway here. You know, that chant, that is the metal. That is the metal we will rock you. That's what this is, you know? Between the clapping part, the back and forth of the crowd doing a verse and Ozzy doing a line of the verse, to the sing along at the end, which is a minor sing along. I mean, and the siren, like this is literally like the beacon, like the calling card of my youth, my adolescence, of like why I picked up the instrument. And Tony Iommi, I can't say enough about Tony Iommi. You talk about people that have the X factor, the stuff that is indescribable. You could pick out the notes in there. You could teach the theory. You'd be missing the point. You know, everything he does is of the most epic nature. All of the notes he picks, all of the spots on the guitar where he chooses to play the power chords, you know, when he does fifth inversions versus root whatever, it's the way it mixes with Geezer. It is all to make the most epic sounds, right? His literal touch. Dude has the tips of his fingers chopped off because he got him cut in a machining accident, making steel, right, in Birmingham. And he has the touch. He has the touch to have perfect intonation in a detuned guitar like this and have it just sear across a crowd. I don't think ever in my life have I seen a guitar player sear, I mean blisteringly sear, single note riffs, single note lines all the way into the hills, into the mountains, way past the pavilion. I've never seen a guitar player have that much power of electricity on stage before. Ever. Not even going to go into why Ozzy's awesome. Ozzy's awesome. It's a shame he had to do the TV show because I remember this Ozzy. Geezer fills up so much sound, right? The way he plays, but also the actual bass sound is massive, massive. And Bill Ward is why it works. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Ward, you guys know how I feel about drummers. You're always only as good as your drummer, right? But in huge stadium-style bands, where you have to send huge singular slabs of sound around stadiums and across fields. You're not playing to these, right? You're playing to an ocean. You're playing to an ocean of people. Think about the AC/DCs of the world, right? I'm talking stadium bands, right? Playing to millions, right? You can't be highly technical. You can't do things that are going to get muddied in the mix and the dude in the back isn't going to get. You have to be a sledgehammer. You have to be completely on it, sending big, giant chunks and just willing them around the air. This band does it better than any band I've ever seen. They literally wait together on each individual breath and each individual hit through every part of every song through the whole set. They are not keeping time. They are literally breathing in and out together. Blunt force trauma. Love it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys real soon.